special call meeting for Friday, December the 8th, 2023, to order. We have one item on the agenda, approval of renewal of resolution declaring the local state of emergency due to Hurricane Idalia. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Commissioner White. Second by Commissioner Mobley. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Anything else to discuss, Mr. Chairman, or Mr. Administrator, Mr. Scott?
Hell, I've called him commissioner and everything else.
I used to be called a lot of different things, that's good. One thing on the last commission meeting, we omitted from the agenda that we'd like to get taken care of if we can. That's certainly your call. We bid out the new hangar for the airport. Luke McGinnis or LMC Steel was the low bidder by about $13,300 for the next one. This is a funded project by DOT, 100%, and our recommendation would be to approve that. Bill Prang, our consultants here from the airport, if you have any questions. Additionally, we do have the contract ready to go. If you want to bring that back to the next meeting, there's a copy that we have in your packet. I know contracts, it's better for you to read them before that, but it would be pending attorney review. But if we can go ahead and get the approval, at least for the awarding of the bid, and then we can get started on the ordering of the building and that sort of thing.
No drawings?
I'm sorry?
No drawings? We'll get to see what it looks like.
It's really like the one next to it.
Hold on.
You like that one?
With a few exceptions, it's a direct replica of the one next to it. The door will be wider and taller to accommodate larger aircraft, but the building itself is the same size, same level of finish, same type of insulation.
Does it have a full open door all the way across?
It's a
Hydraulic door?
Okay.
What's the size of it?
60 by 80.
Mr. Scott, what I would like to do is, if anybody's got any questions for Mr. Prang, we can address all those now. But honestly, like with a contract of that size, it's not on this agenda. The public wasn't aware of it being on this agenda. I don't think anybody from the public will have any concerns. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different contractors that bid it.
Right.
Clearly, the low bidder is the one you signified. I would suggest that we discuss it here and put it on the consent agenda for approval on the first meeting or the second meeting in December, because we've already passed the first one.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it on the next regular scheduled business meeting, just for clarity purposes, unless someone has a problem with that, or there's a time issue that I'm not aware of.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is there a time issue? But I don't think
Any
there is.
concern with that?
Normally, metal building companies have a price increase on January 1st. I think he's trying to beat that.
But we will have another board meeting
We'll
on
meet at
December
Yeah, it should be.
19th.
Did Ernie and them know about this? Or did they not turn in a bid?
There wasn't a bid from them, so
Okay.
I'm not sure.
What's the name of that company?
Axiom is what they call it.
The one on 49,
They didn't obtain plans from us.
They did.
They did not. Yeah, that's not open. Well, they may have gotten them from the county's website. They didn't contact me to get plans and specs.
And that's a what size?
60 by 80.
And how big is that door that's on hydraulics? Do you know?
It's going to be, the door opening is 60 feet clear. The hangar's 80 feet wide. So the door will be 60 feet wide, and it'll have a tail height clearance of 20 feet.
Okay.
So a clear height of 20, which is a little wider and a couple feet taller than the adjacent hangar that's the same size.
We already got a taker for that?
Well,
Chairman, all of things.
Yeah, it's 100% funded by the
Yeah, they put it
DOT.
on the consent agenda. Do make sure they put there for public that it's funded by DOT, 100%. Because I know a lot of times they get confused coming out of local.
Yeah, I talked to Mr. Scott about that, about whenever there's consent agenda items, put on there like budget impact,
There you go.
put on what that is, and then so there's clarity on where the money's coming from.
That's typically
And who's overseeing the project. A lot of times, if it's a DOT budgeted project, and DOT's somewhat overseeing the project, so there's extra sets of eyes on it. So, Mr. Crane, if you don't have any heartburn on that, I'd prefer to put it on the
That's fine.
consent agenda for the December 19th meeting. Mandy, Mr. Scott,
No worries.
or Ms. Frederickson and Mr. Scott. Anybody got any questions for Mr. Crane?
I do not.
Mr. White, you're marking that one?
Just
Okay.
checking that one.
Okay.
I'm fine. No,
So you good with leaving it December 19th?
Yep.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Scott?
Just want to share, y'all, we get a lot of calls on the building department, tell you what's happening there. We brought Marcy in to help catch up. She's able to work in Mac's office whenever he leaves to catch up without any interruptions. That's helping us speed up the process, getting this out. Last I talked, they were rather about 6 weeks out, they were about 10 weeks out. Now that 6 weeks out, so they're gaining ground as we got. I just want to check with you this morning, I didn't do that yet. The one thing that's happening is we keep getting calls from people who give us information that's not correct, and they pass it on to y'all sometimes about, we got a delay, we got this. Well, we had a situation, and I'll pick on Don, or actually I think all y'all got the email from Mr. Henderson.
Yes.
He hadn't even turned in an application yet, and then he turned it in later that day. So it's like, you can't base information on part, fact, and stuff.
And I spoke to Mr. Meeks about that. The contractor is allowed, there's rules in there that if the roof is leaking, the contractor can repair the leak without the permit.
Right.
So, to say, hey, my roof is leaking and it's y'all's fault that water keeps pouring in, like, no, actually, the contractor should know that, hey, you can fix the leak, stop the water.
Right.
And it's been that way. And I'm not picking on any contractor or roofer or any repair business, but I think sometimes they use us as a way of means to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pass the buck, blame them.
Well, to get to buy themselves time. I mean, they're overwhelmed, rightfully so. I get it. But I agree, as long as we're transparent and everyone's up and up. And I've been honest, I'm like, yes, we are behind. I mean, there was just, I guess hundreds of people that had damage from this and
Right.
just behind. So.
The other thing, we have a lot more layers that we have with our building department than others do. Dixie County is an example. They'll walk in and you'll hand you a permit without any driveway permit. It's just, here you go, for a mobile home. And, we don't know if they put a septic in. We don't know if they've done things, the electric's proper. It's just, here you go. I'm speaking a little bit out of turn. I don't know all the details, but it's hard to compare apples and grapefruit and watermelons and turnips.
That's basically the same way that Columbia County does. It's a process to go through it, and you have to be patient, but Ron had that, they have got things set up in stages where he was telling me that, like the storm stuff, he had one person handling all that stuff to kind of get things moving forward. But I feel like Randy did call and they did send out an email, but I expressed to them, they're working on the best they can, and kind of thought I didn't know he didn't fill his application out. But yeah, there's a lot of layers. Some counties do require to have your driveway. You got to go through the health department, environmental, make sure you got the permit done there. So there's a lot going on there. So.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
But I did mine in Taylor County. I had to pull permits for electrical, water, all sewer, everything. I did all mine online and didn't even have to go over there. Is there any way we can, are we working on some way to get that?
We're working on a program that will do that, yes. The program, last month, we talked about it, some of the other counties around us are using that same program. Ms. North may know some of the details on that, but they were getting ready to start, and they found some glitches, so they kind of backed up slightly, but that's in the works.
And the payment deal, are we still working on that?
Still working on that with finance.
All right.
The city of Longwood will go that you can do it online, get the application, do it, and Lake City does it there.
I say I did it online. I could pull the forms off, send them back to them, and they send me the permit back. That's how it worked. Not, wasn't no portal or anything. You went in and put stuff.
Fill it out and then resend it in. Still easy enough.
Yeah, it was easy
It's
enough.
better than making a road trip.
Yeah.
Well, all the forms are there. You can download all the forms. It's
I don't
not,
think a lot of people know that though. I don't, they
it's not my department, so I don't.
well, we get so many complaints on it, and I don't, I think there's an easier way to do it than what we're doing, but I'm sure Marcy will help out.
Yeah, Marcy's been all, she was doing that for a long time.
Especially she got to deal with public and phone calls, and she's working on permits.
The other thing is we've got, it's time for the decals, so
I got mine in the mail.
it's
Have you already?
time for phone calls. blowing
Even
up,
stamp
calls and
decals
questions.
enclosed.
We got mine.
We did that in-house instead of getting
I wondered if we did. Was it cheaper that
a
way?
little bit, yes.
Mr. Scott, on the debris removal, so obviously, I think that we're gonna probably have to continue to do this LSC to cover some of our pinballing around, getting stuff that's missed, but I'm seeing a lot of stuff, like on and it's really no one's fault, but like on the county graded roads, the dirt roads, where those tree stumps and stuff has been sawed out of the road, either by citizens or by National Guard or whomever, but it's, wooded fence lines, property owners, but there's a bunch of stuff just off the lime rock, that shouldn't be there. Some of it is substantial in size, but no one's really calling to say, hey, this is there, because it's not bothering anybody. It's, it's in front of a 160 acre piece or whatever it is. It's not in front of their house, if you
It'll
will.
cause us problems later.
But it's going to be a problem. At some point, our crews or somebody's going to get that stuff out of the way, because over time it's going to creep onto the roadbed, and now it's rolled off. So, what is your thought process? Is this one reason why we're doing this, and you anticipate our guys, which I think is going to be a lot, or are we going to kind of hold the contractor's hand and say, hey, we want to do a sweep?
Yeah, the contractors, Gene's coming in later today, so we can talk through the private roads, but also some of this stuff to make sure, I talked the other day about sitting down with the contractor and saying, okay, how do you want to receive the information? Because when we see it, we're getting to a point now when we see it, we need to report. We're already reporting it as we go, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page on that, so that if they have Levi come over and meet with us one day and say, this is what our expectations are, the way we've been told by DOT, and until we're happy and they're happy, they're going to stay here to work.
Well, I went down the road yesterday, and it's clear that it's probably a citizen, thankfully, just pushed stuff up, and it's just stacked up right off the edge of the lime rock. I'm like, man, it's as much as a whole pickup truck load, but it's just like, that stuff, that's going to cost somebody some money to get that stuff out of the way. At some point, it's going to be a problem.
So he brought up a good point though, but has the tree stumps been discussed as part of the removal process?
Yes.
Okay.
And the way that's working is a different piece of equipment they need, because the stumps are heavier.
Right.
So they got to bring a different piece of equipment in to get those. I've seen some already been picked up,
Okay.
others have not yet.
Leo, where them two big stumps come there at the end of that dirt road there at Eddie Hands on Chicken House? That's
Oh, I'm seeing them being dropped off
as
everywhere.
big as a semi truck, two of them.
There's one right across from the entrance of Foxborough. Somebody just dropped off on the side of the road.
I'm just wondering how they're going to deal with them.
What about the tree, the hangers? There's on 49, them people have been there like 12 people. They ain't went a quarter of a mile.
They'll keep working.
And they ain't doing hardly no limbs. How are they getting paid? Is it by the hour?
The inspectors are getting paid by the hour by the feds, and the contractor is getting paid by production. So the contractor is as
But there's
frustrated.
Losing his shirt.
The contractor is as frustrated as we are, because it's the hourly
The
inspectors
curve
that
where
are
the
taking.
stumps are to 180th Street, they've been working on it all week on one side of the road, and they haven't got nothing done. Like 12 12 people.
Well, the guy that's cutting the limb can't do nothing until the guy that's about an hour tells him he can move and do what he's gotta do.
So we got
You got two competing things going on
So
there.
I've talked with several of those contractors, and that's a big problem with the system, but that's the system that's used everywhere there's a disaster. This ain't new to Suwannee County. Those are the inspectors that are inspecting the works getting done to authorize the feds to release the payment. So they don't like it. It costs them money because, you know, they're having to feed and house those guys, and they want to come in here and go and get after it. But just the inspectors documenting what they're doing so they can get paid and slowing them down.
They got to take a picture before it's cut, after it's cut, measure the thing. It's like, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist, but you think they'd come up with a whole, like an hourly rate per man. We're going to pay you by the hour per man. But then again, they could milk that and just slow down. So it's just like, what's the...
If you had one for both teams in the same vehicle right down the road and just count, all right, we got 412 hangers, that's worth this much. But
Get them as quick as you can.
And that makes it, that's logical. Logic doesn't work in...
Yeah, and I don't. We're going down a rabbit trail here, so if anybody's got any more questions, comments, concerns, anybody?
We had a real good meeting yesterday with the governor initiated a group meeting with Department of Commerce, Emergency Management, Water Management, DOT, so there's another agency, but all these state agencies pre-storm, post-storm, where were we, where are we, what do we, how do we do, what are the downfalls? So we had a conversation about those. The good thing from part of that came from that, talking to Shannon this morning, was had to go to another DEO conversation or Department of Commerce conversation. But you know, some of these, the resiliency grant we're working on now to look at low spots, flooding areas, that kind of stuff. And we got photos and things, we move on those now. We don't have to wait on the study to come back. So that was good.
Good deal. Anybody else? Or motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner White, second by Commissioner Hale. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. 5-0 voting. Motion's adjourned.
All right, very good. I hate to run you fellas, but I got a 9